Kind of still getting set up here. Gonna make sure that everything is up and running. Let's move that over. I think no. That is the live one. I think we're good. I hope we're good anyway. All right. If you can hear me all right, let me know. Let me know. Let me know. All right. All right. All right. So, very, very impromptu stuff right now. This is kind of, like I said, this is open forum. Anything y'all want to talk about, chat about, questions, whatever you want to kind of go over. LBC Cody, what's going on, man? Shag, what's up, buddy? Well, I should probably start making my list, right? Nope, don't want that. Don't look at that, please. Right, that's what we're gonna look at. We got LBC, Shag. Sound okay? I had to tinker with some stuff earlier. Bizalls, what's up, man? It's actually one of the horses I got from Bizalls when he gifted me this one for being part of his stayer residency. So, Corey K, Neon Shadow. All right. Neon Shadow, you're added to the list. So we'll get started here in a few minutes. I mean, I guess technically we've already gotten started because I have no agenda tonight. Mike is back from vacation. So he's been hard at work trying to get the race code all updated and what have you. Not really anything too sexy for me to talk about with respect to that. I will get into one of the most recent changes we made. Dragno at the wire. Here we go. Got a couple of new ones. So yeah, this is going to be, again, very, very impromptu on my side. We're not really, like I said, there's no agenda here tonight. So if you have questions or anything along those lines, feel free to ask. And yeah, we're going to kind of get things underway as far as what I do want to talk about, which is really just the most recent announcement that we put up. But we'll get to that as soon as 9 o'clock rolls around. And that'll be that. But how's everybody's weekend? Everybody have a good sim weekend? I saw we had a few graded winners in the Slack chat. So if you're not in Slack, jump on. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Jump on this page, go to connect and click on chat, and then you can, do the Derby Fever Slack and join up with us. We all kind of hang out and chat in there, share horses, do all the fun stuff on the Slack chat. So, Sim Dragno, just a couple stake shows for me and local stakes win. Couple of graded runners failed. That's all right. First grade one winner of the year. Wow, that's what I'm talking about at the wire. Very good. Very good, very good, very good. Yeah, so again, kind of just wing it tonight. No real agenda. Like I said, if questions come up, then Vision, how's it going, man? FTW, is that your Vision? Is that your name in the sim as well? Sorry. We got Taffy. What's up, Taffy? You're becoming a regular, or not becoming? You are a regular. Corey K. Oh no, you're Neon Shadow. We got to remember that. Corey K, so that I don't look for Corey K when I go to give out credits. All right. Does what a mare does in her racing career affect her breeding ability, or if I breed a filly and retire her immediately, she has the same breeding ability? We're gonna get to that, Cody. I'll start answering. Oh, it's Jono. Okay, good, Jono. That helps me out. Appreciate it, man. Vision is Jono. We'll get to your question here in a minute, Cody. Like I said, there's a couple of things I'm gonna go over. To kind of get started, and then we'll just, like I said, we'll keep it pretty open. Not really gonna focus too much on one area is more or less what I'm trying to say. Sam, what's up, Sam? Sam made it in. Like to see it. Be helpful if I could spell his name right. We got another minute to go. One more minute, and then I will go ahead and kind of get started with the big announcement. Well, not the big announcement, but just kind of the minor quick update that we posted today, so that y'all can see it. I know I went over it before, but it is in production now, so we'll go ahead and talk about it in about a minute. But yeah, so Vision or Jono says watching live at work. Nice. Glad I can be a part of your work day. I forget you all are on Monday already. Oh, hold on. Oops. Posting the link in the Slack chat. All right. So, first of all, thank you all for joining. This is, again, very, very open forum, impromptu. Like I said, there's no real agenda here tonight, so we're going to talk about what we talk about. We'll go over whatever we go over. We'll talk as long as you guys are active, and that'll kind of be the extent of it. First things first, though, the one thing I wanted to kind of discuss was the quick update, which, again, not a big one, but this goes back to the Find Mare option. I don't know why I went to this page. I should have just stayed where I was. But on the Find Mares page, everybody should now notice this. This is live for everybody. It's not just me like it was the last time I showed this. But if you search your mares, they should almost pop up instantaneously. Doesn't matter. You can search for whatever you want. So, boom, bing, bang, boom. Happens very, very quick. That is all big thanks to Mike for all the work and effort he put in on that. So, again, that's part of a bigger change that we're looking at, or not a change, but a part of a bigger update that we're going to hopefully get done here within the next, few months, hopefully. A few months at the earliest, end of the year at the latest. So it's gonna move significantly quicker. It works for your hidden mares as well. I don't know that I have any elusive quality hidden, but go something like Ghost Zapper would help if I could type. There we go. Yeah, see, so there you go. Super fast. So that was number one. Just wanted to pop that off and explain that is actually live for everybody right now. So if you do happen to run into any issues, just let me or Mike know, and then we'll adjust it accordingly. We got chips for you to see. All right, you are getting added to the list. What's up? Thank you for joining. Chips for you to see. All right, so that was really the only thing that I wanted to talk about. Well, actually, I lied. There's one more thing. So I've gotten a lot of questions about training recently, based on the last video that I showed. And again, I'm going to go over it again, but this is how I do it. I'm not saying that this is right or this is wrong, but this is how I do it. I set it up to where, either I'll, when a race ends, or when a horse runs rather, I'll either enter the horse immediately again. So as you can see, well, you can't see, like all these are obviously entered. I have them entered as far down as That's July 24th, and they go beyond that. So that's one way I do it. The other way I do it is I'll schedule the training for 5 to 6 weeks out, and then when they hit 2 weeks like this, I'll just go in, search, look for something maybe 1 or 2 weeks out, see if anybody's bid anything or if there's any new races that were generated or what have you. And then I'll just pick a race and I'll enter it. And that's the extent of it, and that's what I do. Now, the other thing I do is if I don't think a horse is running particularly well, I don't use the farm. And the reason why I don't use the farm is because I don't feel like, well, I know there's no actual benefit other than preventing me from touching it. But what I do is I schedule them out like this. So as you can see here, these are 43 weeks out, 39 weeks out, 34 weeks out. Some of them I have scheduled even, as far as a year out, 56, 47, 47. So that's basically how I do it. Again, I took this straight off the website when I first started, because the website tells you that when you schedule a race, you always go, or when you enter a horse in a race, it always goes sharp for 7 days before, 7 days after, something like that. So just remember that. Okay, so that was really all I wanted to get into at the moment. So let me start with Cody's first question. His first question was, does what a mare does in her racing career affect her breeding ability, or if I breed a filly and retire her immediately, she has the same breeding ability as her twin who is a grade 1 winner? No. So every horse is bred individually, Cody, and what a horse does on the... So actually, you know what? I'm going to go do this because we went over this horse last time, and this is a really good example. But this horse bow twisted or however you want to say it. This horse was not very good on the track, if I can find it. Well, if it decides to load. Any day now. Anyways, this one basically was not very good. There we go. But it was more or less because the maturity age for the horse was actually 6 years old plus. So yeah, won 3 races out of 21. This horse, from what I saw with the ratings and all of the nuance that's involved with each horse, this horse actually should have probably won a graded race. And she had a very high pass attributes trait. So as you can see, she's passing a ton of her attributes down to her progeny. So this is a good example of how us as trainers can really screw a horse up. Like this horse was actually supposed to be really good. It's, if I remember correctly, between 6 furlongs and 7.5, I think. So, yeah. So that I hope that answers your question, Cody. Let's see. Let me scroll down. Man, that mare's page is so speedy now. Yep, sure is, Jono. Taffy said it's super nice. Was on it last night. Noticed that sifting through all the mares was super quick. Yep, absolutely. That's all Mike, man. Mike put a lot of effort into that. So if you can, shoot him a quick message or what have you, and just let him know. I mean, I texted him and told him the community was super happy about it. So, but I'm sure he'd love to hear the good feedback from all of you as well. Shag says, any chance that same change will be pushed to the horse search function? Possibly. It's the thing, the thing that kind of sucks about this particular change is that it's kind of a pain in the ass to do for each individual page. So because of what we have coming, here shortly, we wanted to basically make sure that we got this side of it handled out, because this is going to be one of the tools that we use going forward as far as the finding mares is concerned. This page here is going to be pretty useful in the future. Not that it's not now, but it's going to be really useful in the future. Let's see. Chat working, but can't see the video. As far as I know, we are good. If you rest for Taffy's asking, if you rest for say 6 months, do they need a few races to come back if they never go piggy? They can. Again, it really depends. It depends upon the horse. Some horses are good, like in real life. Some horses are good on the layoff, off the layoff. Other horses really, really, really need a couple starts to get rolling again, and that's the way it works. So you'll notice it, you'll see it in the performances and in the results and all that stuff. So But yeah, I don't want to say it'll be fairly obvious, but you'll see it with the speed figs. You'll see it with the results, of the actual race. If your horse does anything, as far as making a move or finishing well or, something like that. So, Desperado. Hey, let me get you up on the list here, Rob. Desperado. Boom, got him. All right, we got Corey K. Not sure if this has been asked in previous discussions. To what extent does travel truly affect performance wear and tear? So, to my knowledge, travel doesn't really do much of anything. It's very minor. Very minor. And again, that's from what I've read in the code. The wear and tear as a whole is kind of its own rating in and of itself. So that's really what does the majority of impact, if that makes sense. So yeah, travel, while it does have an impact, it's again minor. Cody said, so if she had won a grade 1, would she wouldn't? No, Cody, she would not have been any better. It just would have been an indicator that she's probably a pretty good horse in general, or a pretty good mare in general. Chips less than Maddie. User error in your case, I would say. Does chips equal Maddie? Is that what we were trying to say there, Jono? I think. Here we go. Where was I? Oh, Jono. Here we go. Nope, I read that. We got Spin who just joined. All right. We got a nice little group on tonight. We got almost 20 people. Any chance to add more search tools to the mare page, badges, surface, preference? So on this page, I think you can not search by badges, but you can certainly filter. We've had discussions about it. Again, you can technically filter. Oh no, you can't filter by best. You can filter by DRT. You can filter by badges, sire. So you can filter by everything except for the surface. Yeah, I mean we've talked about adding a few different features. We've talked about adding a few different filters. Ryan Lenny hit me up about one that's going to be a really useful one on this page. Don't know that we're going to get it in on this particular change because we've actually already pushed this one out. But again, a lot of the filtering stuff is probably going to occur when we do the rewrite of the website. So, any chance to add more? Oh, I read that. You'd said previously that there was a trainer rating. How much does that affect us, and can our rating be improved? Yeah, so the trainer rating is done depending upon how you handle the horse, and it applies to each individual horse. It's not like a one size fits all where you have this one rating that applies to every single horse. It's unique to every single instance of a horse that you have. So in that scenario, or to answer that question, I'm not going to tell you how much it impacts it, but it does impact it. So if you're getting the distance and the surface right, you're probably maxing it out. That's the best way I can put it. Let's see. Spin with a heart. Yup, we all love Spin. Sam says, I would love to be able to show mares that have never been bred. Yeah, that's another one that's another request that we've gotten. Again, I got all this stuff basically put away on a sheet someplace. I'm not going to dig for it right now, but I am taking your suggestions. I am taking everything that you guys say and I'm putting it down on a nice little list so that when we do get around to the rewrite, we'll be able to kind of, get to them all at once. So, Rob said you can sort, but trying to find retired and not used. Yeah, no, I got you, Rob. Yep. I know, Taffy, you've told me a few times about the DS search. Chips is finally sorted. All right. Or Maddie. Super from my stable and retired. Yep. Jono, can you tell Mike to bring back Flying Spur as a sire, even if it's just for me? No, Can't. I don't have that much sway. I actually, I am gonna release something. Actually, Spin. I gotta send you a message and ask you something after this stream. So, but I do. I actually had to. I actually asked Mike something specific about the sires and releasing the increase decrease stuff at a larger scale going forward. So be on the lookout for that. He gave me the go ahead to do it the way that I wanted to. So, yeah, I'll take care of that, and then we'll, again, I have to talk to Spin about it real quick though. Let's see. Sam, don't they have a 0 right hand side if they haven't been bred? No. They could have a 0 if they don't have any winners either, Jono. Ben's my buddy. What's up, King? Oh, you were here to see the handstands? Yeah, sorry, man. We decided to go with Twitch and not OnlyFans. So, maybe next time I'll pop on OnlyFans and do the naked handstands. That's an inside joke if you were on chat earlier. Corey K, best way to tell if they haven't been bred is to look for the retired badge versus the mom badge. Oh, is that true? Oh, good call. That's a good call out, Corey. I like it. Clearly, I have a lot to do. I have to breed a lot then. All right. Let's see. Yeah, but you have a million mares. That's at 10 p.m. Indeed. That's the after hours schedule. That's why your mares all have 0s. Yeah, most of mine do too, as you can tell. Well, these are the active ones anyway. So yeah, no winners. Yep. Yeah, so that's it. That was really all I really wanted to. I mean, not that I wanted to go through. Does anybody have any questions? Anything else that we need to chat about in terms of the game or suggestions or future plans or anything like that? So I also, so everybody's aware, I did talk to Mike on Friday, which is why we were able to get this most recent change pushed. So he's busting his ass right now too, trying to get the race code taken care of, and moving it over to, an updated language. So yeah, he is around. He is paying attention. I'm just kind of taking the front-facing stuff for the moment. Got to send a big congrats to Magical Morning. Absolutely. Bounce back huge. Let's see. Horse search. For those of you who don't know, this, I believe, is King AB's horse. And she bounced back huge with another grade 1 win. So just going to run through Magical Morning here real quick, but this is, again, a very, very good horse. I mean, it does not get much better than this. And I hope one day that when we do another one of the horse lookups, like we did the last time, horse reviews, that Larry will let me do this one and also let me do, just let me do this one. But yeah, as you see, 12 wins and 14 dirt starts is pretty damn good. Had a little awkward one last time she ran, but Larry's being smart, man. Look, he's picking and choosing his spots from February to July, from November to February. I mean, granted, these are all grade 1, so they're probably spaced out as such, but even so, he's picking and choosing his spots. He's figuring it out. So patience gets rewarded. That's the best way I can tell y'all. Let's see. Where did I leave off? Briefly, Dragno, we briefly touched on jockey effort last time. Can you expand on that a bit? Did you just say go 100% all the time? No, do not. Well, that's not what I said. Dragno, 100% would be the equivalent of you sending your horse all out. Oh, no, you said jockey effort, right? You say jockey effort or jockey instructions? Sorry, I'm dyslexic. Jockey effort. Okay. So jockey effort, my suggestion would be my personal suggestion is just don't touch it. That's my suggestion. But there, I mean, in my opinion, there's really no reason why you would touch it, because the game already knows, or the jockeys already know that, like, if they don't have a shot, to just wind the horse down, so as to not, abuse the hell out of the horse and, try to hurt the horse even more, if that makes sense. Maddie, bring back the CPU value allowances. Not happening. Magical Morning was amazing. Yep. Magical Morning is an amazing one. One of the premier horses in the game. Sam says, when the game is redone, will it be an entire new look and a whole new front and to learn again, i.e. Pig? I don't think so. As far as I know, Sam, the general consensus is we're going to use the same kind of structure. Like, the bones are already there. We're just going to move to a different format, something that's maybe a little bit more, a little bit prettier, a little bit more modern as far as the website is concerned, and a little bit more mobile friendly. So you'll see, I mean, obviously the layout of the game will be different. Like, not everything here is going to be the same, but in theory, like, the structure and the architecture of the game shouldn't change very much, if at all. LBC Cody, do some horses run better at some tracks and worse at others? Not that I've seen, Cody. No. I haven't really looked for that in the code either, but so if it does exist, my guess is it's probably minor. Like, very, very minor. Let's see. Bizarre, should I allow an extra week if need to travel overseas? I mean, so I have seen there, like, the overseas stuff is, there is an impact, right? But it's super, super minor. It's very, very small. In my opinion, it's not going to be the reason why you win or lose a race. Do mares pass on like and dislike for an off track? They can, King. They absolutely can. They can pass on everything except for the pass attributes. So the pass attributes trait is the only one that automatically gets randomly generated for every single horse. Where was I? In the first one of these, you mentioned that Spice Turtle's preferred start speed was 0.1. Do you know how? Do you know if he actually ran at that? I'm having a hard time seeing 20 lengths off the pace as anything other than a 0. I don't know. I mean, to be honest with you, I would have to dig through all the audit files, which I don't want to do. But you could ask. I don't think Dan ever used instructions for him. I'm pretty sure he was on Jockey Select the entire time. But if I had to take a guess as far as what his style was, I mean, I can find out what his style was. Let me find his style real quick. Or not. I'm kind of at the mercy of the... No, go away. Need that. And then I also need... Oh, that's coming up. Sorry, guys. Give me 2 seconds. So Spice Turtle that's not the right table. That's not the right table either. Oops. Oh my God, what am I doing? Okay, so Spice Turtle was, what did I say? Spice Turtle was like 0.12. So she was pretty far back there. I mean, again, you also got to remember a lot of this stuff is very, very different depending upon the horse, and you know, 0.12 is not necessarily always going to be 17 lengths back for every horse. You know what I mean? 0.12, and because it's a jockey thing as well, right? Because some jockeys are better than others, so they may not all run them at the peak. You know what I mean? They might just run them around where they should be. So, but yeah, that's that. Let's see. Preferred start speed was 1. Do you know if he actually ran at that? I haven't heard. Yeah, all right. So I just read that. Yeah, so that's pretty much that. But yeah, let's all take another opportunity to send googly eyes at Dan's amazing horse. One day we'll all get one of these. Probably not anytime soon. Although King's got one now. Although he's not nearly as... Wait, was Magical Morning wasn't up at 20 million, right? But to further expound upon your point there, Shag, I would say that the jockeys probably got it right. Although Magical Spice Turtle was super, super talented. Yeah, 6.8. So yeah, nowhere near Spice Turtle, but still an amazing. I think this is the highest dirt winning sire, right? Or dirt winning mare. But yeah, back to Spice Turtle. Sorry, I'm jumping all over the place. But yeah, so back to Spice Turtle. He was so good. He probably, somebody could have messed him up, or Dan could have really screwed him up and probably still got a grade 1 victory out of him. Dan's just so damn good at the game that he recognized where the horse was going to basically find its groove, and he stuck with it. Same way King has with, Magical Morning. So got to give kudos to both of those guys. And I went over it before. I went over it the last series, or the last video rather. But, Valesa with Melanie, that was a horse that horse won grade 1s because of where Valesa placed her. It's as simple as that. I have 30 years left on this earth, so I'll be waiting for that moment when that type of horse arrives. Well, hopefully get him sooner rather than later. Didn't you get a grade 1 this weekend, Maddie? Am I remembering that correctly? I know I got my ass beat this weekend. I won 1 stakes race, and I think I had 10 to 12 going. There you go. So congrats. Maybe it's the start of something there, Maddie. So yeah, man. So we got a nice little crowd, and we've only been at it for about 30 minutes. Anybody got any other questions? Anything else that you want me to go over? Oh, there's Donnie. He's just here so he doesn't get fined. Donnie B. Also, Donnie, I completely forgot to bring up your scenario to Mike on the forums. So I'll have to, the next time I talk to him, I'll bring it up. Sam, 2-0 racing, 1-pack wear and tear, more than 3-0 racing. Yeah. So as far as 2-year-old racing is concerned, the more you race them, all right, I'll try to say this the right way because I always stumble through this sentence. The earlier you race them, the more wear and tear there is. So if you're racing them consistently outside of their maturity, kind of, I guess their maturity curve, we'll call it, it does increase the wear and tears, which is why somewhere either the last video or the video before that, I made mention of, if they're just not showing anything at 2, nothing wrong with putting them on the shelf and trying again. Hell, I mean, I'll show you my stable again. I'm doing it. This is what I'm doing. I got, see, there's a 2-year-old, 30 weeks out. 2-year-old, 43 weeks out. 2-year-old, oh, that's the same one. 2-year-old, 27. 2-year-old. So, yeah, I mean, I'm kicking them out. And again, same thing goes for 3-year-old racing. If they're just not showing you enough for 3-year-old racing, don't waste the races and build up the wear and tear. That's my suggestion. You don't have to go by that. I mean, some people have found success with really talented horses without running them in their, maturity curve, or within the curve, right? Within the curve. I don't even know if that doesn't sound right. I got to come up with something better than that. Yeah. So again, if you find my best suggestion would be is to just basically pay attention to what the horse is telling you. Like if, I'll tell you this one, for example. I remember this one because it was recent. So it ran a 61 and I was expecting it to run somewhere in the 70s because of where we are in the year. And for that reason, I said, F you, you're going out 30 weeks. And that's that. Pissed me the hell off. Didn't even think twice about this one. I was like, oh my God, get off of my screen. And then 30 weeks out is where you went. So maybe I'll be cooled off in 30 weeks and, feel a little bit better about that one. But who knows? Let's see. King, I have so many 2-year-olds on the shelf that I'm running out of shelves. We'll have to build you some more. Excuse me. Oh, man. Yeah. So Maddie says, is it a no-no to race females against males, especially in stakes or group races? Well, that depends on how good you think the female is. There is a penalty for racing females against males. However, the really, really good females will beat the males. They don't take the penalty the same way the ones that don't belong do. So that is all I'm going to say on females against males. Taffy says, try to start all babies on both surfaces before I put them that far out. Yeah, I mean, again, you can do that. I just don't think so I think you really just got to pay attention to the speed figs. And again, you could do it on both surfaces to see if you're getting a tell of sorts, right? Like for example, let me go back to this one. If I could run this one on dirt, right? But based on the breeding and because it's scratched, I'm fairly certain this is a turf horse, right? Now, it could turn out that I'm completely wrong and that it's a dirt horse and it might be graded 2 years old, but I'm willing to take the chance I'm willing to bet that it's not. So I'm not going to play the what if game in the sense of, well, what if I ran it at 2? Well, then I missed out. That's the best way I can put it. Doesn't mean I won't win anything with the horse. It just means I might have missed out on the best part of the horse's career. And somebody showed me a horse again. I think it was Beer Keg showed me a horse not long ago that I don't know if it's active or not, so I got to kind of be careful here. But the horse should have actually run when it was 4 or 5, or I think it was 4. Its curves, its maturity, its full maturity started at 4, and he ended up just kicking ass with it at 2 years old. So he ran the hell out of it at 2 years old, and he ended up having a really, really successful career with it. I mean, I didn't even see your second comment, Taffy. I'm sorry. That might be hurting me with wear and tear as it's another start. No, I don't think it's hurting you in the grand scheme of things. I think for the most part, 2 starts is not going to kill your horse. Again, it's when you start. I would say from a 2-year-old perspective, really it should be no more than 5 or 6 starts in the year, unless they're really, really kicking ass. But for the most part, it's a feel thing. Like the entire game is, you all got to just kind of make the decisions for yourself. There's nothing I can really tell you that, because like I said, I can give you advice, but people have proven my advice wrong. Like I said, Beer Keg had his horse who just kicked ass. I've seen a lot of horses just in the history of the game that were run outside of the maturity curve kick ass. So, it's like a what could have been, but at the same time, like, hard to argue that game when you win grade 1s or you win a graded race in general. Rancho, would it ever be a possibility to do away with multiple sub-stables that are limited to 10 slots each and just have one stable with no slot limits or a limit that can be upgraded? So we're thinking we do have some work to do on the stable, sub-stable stuff. That's kind of a behind-the-scenes thing right now. And I think that's one that we have slotted for next year, because it's going to be such a massive change. But I don't know what the limit's going to look like. I don't know if there's going to be a limit. We haven't really gotten that far into the conversation yet. So, best thing I can tell you is stay tuned. Sam says, I looked at every Sim Derby females against males. They were 0 for 40 around there. Only 3 ran second. Some pretty good males here, too. There are some very, very good males. So, best thing I can tell you is the females will beat the males. I think there was a female who won the Florida Derby a couple years back, if I'm not mistaken. I'd have to look for it, but I'm not going to do that right now. Excuse me. But yeah, I'm pretty sure there was a female. Yeah, I'm like 900% sure there was a female that won the Florida Derby, because I went into that race thinking that the female never stood a chance, and it kicked the shit out of everything, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure. Super Taffy, are horses that are talented at 2 likely better older? They can be. It's not really a likely thing, but they can be. Yeah, so I would have to do my research on that, Maddie. I'm not, again, I'm not going to doubt Sam's numbers. I mean, because I trust he did his research, but I'm fairly positive there was one. It might not have been within the last couple of years. It might have been 3 years ago, whenever. But I'm pretty sure there's females out there that beat up on the boys sometimes. I think Spin had one, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe I'm wrong on that. I don't know. Let's see. Taffy said, would you want to rest and come back later and they're more likely to win? They can't. I mean, the best thing I can tell you, Taffy, is it's possible. So here's how I'm looking at it, right? And I'll go through. Let me go back down to the ones. So like this one, for example, I ran once at 2. She ran a 69, and again, this is a fairly, like, the mare was heavy turf. So I'm fairly confident that this horse is turf. Now, again, I could be wrong, and I could be rolling the dice here for nothing and, waiting and waiting and waiting. But I've run the horse 3 times, waited till the middle of May from the 2-year-old season. So I waited damn near a year to get a 79 and a 77. Now, at some point, I'm probably going to try dirt. I don't know when, but I know the mare. I'm pretty sure the mare did its best work at 4. Yeah. Second place in a grade 2 at 4, won 11 furlong. Yeah. So for me, like I said, I'm kind of betting on this horse being good later. And this is me kind of basically testing stuff and trying to see if I'm right. And if I'm right, great. If I'm wrong, then hey, I lost, 100 credits on this horse, I think, or however much I paid for Piero. Let me see. Where am I going? Shag, if you have a 2-year-old that shows talent, how often would you run them to take advantage, but also try to avoid a short career? I kind of answered that. I mean, I would say, like I said, 5 to 6 times, unless of course you're going for the big races, again, and even then, if you're going for the big races and you have a shot at, like a potential Derby horse, run the horse as you see fit. That's the best way I can explain it. Like, the Derby is not easy to get into, number one, and number two, if you get there, you definitely should not pass up that opportunity, even if you don't think your horse has a shot. I mean, how many horses go that today that we all know don't have a shot? So, or at least that we think don't have a shot. Female won the BB Classic too. Yeah. Again, I'm fairly certain there's been some fillies and mares that have beaten up on the boys in the past. Sam is asking, if there is a class rating for every horse, is it safe to say that a high-speed fig at a low class is not a good barometer that the runner can climb the class ladder successfully? 110 is not always 110. So, It's a tough question. So there is a class rating. I'm not sure that this is what you're asking, but there is a class rating, and it's the class rating is more or less the way I look at it is it's basically is it more or less is the horse professional or not? And if you have a high class rating, that means the horse is going to show up every single day on race day, whether it's a claimer, grade one, whatever. It's always going to show up and run to whatever its number should be. If it doesn't, then you can probably just kind of chalk it up to the horse being a bit of a head case or unprofessional. But there's no hard cutoff. Like there's no like a, hey, this horse is coded to be a grade 3 winner. Doesn't work that way. My females against males was only the Bluegrass Derby, by the way. Oh, I got you, Sam. Yeah, again, that's the tough race, man. That's the toughest race to win. Excuse me. You got the other thing you got to remember is that most horses in the game, with the way that the community breeds, most horses are bred between a mile and 12 furlongs. So between 8 and 12 furlongs. So it literally is, it's tough. It is very, very difficult to win in that division. So, swaps go something. Mine ran second in the Derby prep versus males, but bombed in the Derby. Ended up just wanting a mile. Yeah. Was that Dawn Goes Down Today? Or Dawn Goes Today spin? Is that the right? Do I have the right horse there? 2020 Florida Derby, Apathetic Guru. Yup, that's the horse that kicked the crap out of me, I'm pretty sure. Let me double check that. Was I in that race? I'm pretty sure I was in this race. Was I in this race? Yep, I finished 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I finished 10th. Fun race. I remember I had such high hopes for Fiercely Frosted that year. Good find. Yep. Look up a horse named The Spike and please explain the unexplainable. The Spike, huh? Let's see. Please explain the unexplainable. I can only imagine what the hell I'm walking into, King. Oh, God. Is that a real horse you gave me? Oh, I did my results only. Shit. Never enough sprint races in the game, in my opinion. Very few 4.5 to 5.5 across many age groups. Yeah. It's. I'm trying to think of the best way to explain this. I actually cannot. Oh, you know how I can explain this? Oh, no, I can't. Hold on. I can't explain this because it's active. Mike would kill me if I explained that. So I'm not going to do it. But back to Jono's statement, 4.5. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, again, I know 4.5 furlongs is kind of a thing in America. It's not a huge thing. I mean, you don't see it very often. You see more 5 and 5.5s. But the sim, I'd have to look at the race generator. And it is something that we've talked about as far as like how to spread the races out and so on and so forth. But it could probably use an update, But again, a lot of it is, I'd like to believe that a lot of it is the way that Mike does everything is kind of dependent on what you guys do in the game. So my guess is that what he's generally doing with the race generator is probably in line with how many horses fall into which divisions. So he's scheduling based off of, which horses land where. That would be my best guess. Mind you, again, I'm gonna let me backtrack on that and tell y'all I don't know that for sure. I'm taking a guess. I haven't seen the code. I don't know. I would really, again, that's purely a guess on my part. I have to research it. Is the CD and DI a true indication of distance and surface, or just Really a guide. Don't expect the full answer or the KFC recipe. Well, I mean, I would say it's the same thing it is in real life. It's a guide. You can breed a horse to to run forever, but sometimes they just don't want to do it. 16 fillies have beaten the boys in a grade 1 since 2020, including Platinum Wipe Club, doing it 4 times. That's what's up. Whoever owns Platinum Wipe Club, congratulations. How much do you expect full crop size to drop with the new restrictions? I know last few years have been more sim horses than real world numbers. Well, pretty much every year is more sim horses than real world numbers. But we actually looked at this the other day, and you could see it's not huge, but there's a cooling off that's been going on with the breeding. So it's doing what we want it to do. Like I said, like we've been telling everybody from the forefront here. Excuse me. It was never really meant to impact the average player. It was meant to impact a few folks who were taking advantage of the game, or taking advantage of the free part of the game. And it was just becoming too unsustainable. And, again, that was kind of when Mike asked me to jump in and help. And, that's what we've done pretty much since the start of the year. I'd quietly been behind the scenes doing some stuff and, talking with Mike and getting things figured out. And as far as, I don't expect us to make any other changes to that unless we absolutely need to. But, again, for the most part, it's kind of hitting the people that we thought it was going to hit. And yeah, we're just kind of going from there. But like we said, there's no reason to, really breed 600 horses a month every month. And that's what some people were doing, if not more than that. So, but yeah, this horse is interesting though, Larry. I'm going to look this one up when I get off. I am going to look this one up when I get off and find out what the hell actually happened here. TappetsI'mRacing.com. What is that, Sam? Too many Tappets bred? Yeah, there's a shit ton of Tappets bred. I don't have the number offhand, but I can tell you the number who have run so far this year. 352 of them have run so far, and I imagine when the miles open up, it's going to increase significantly. So my guess is it's probably going to be somewhere above 500 to 600. So you never know. But yeah, I mean, going back to this, one of the things that again, with one of the other changes that's going to kind of come about here as far as the BPs are concerned, I imagine we're going to change the BP costs too, going forward. Because to be honest right now, the credits correctly takes inflation and really competition into account, but the BPs doesn't. And the BPs is starting to become more and more of the prominent currency in the game. So I imagine for certain sires, BPs is going to start going up. There was another conversation that Mike and I had about raising the floor on the low end sires. So like, let's just do this. So like, Grand Silk, for example, we were talking about raising the BP cost, or not Grand Silk, I'm sorry. Hold on. Let's go with Hall Walker. We're talking about bringing the BP floor up to like 20, 25 BPs. But then for a horse who's like middle of the road, say like, I don't know, I guess Bricks and Mortar, we were saying that we would allow it to go as low as, I don't know, 100 BPs, if somebody let it go that far. Horse should have paid 474 instead of 175. Who's that? The Spike. 394 Tabit 2-year-olds bred through last Sunday. God bless you, Shag. You are my statistician. I have to give you a bonus. But yeah, so so that's kind of it right there. And I'm sure everybody's probably, how many do I have in here right now? I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 y'all. Give them a tap it. Oh, Mike hasn't shown me how to give away shares yet. That's on the agenda yet on next. So maybe whenever I learn how to give away actual shares, I mean, I'm sure I could do it pretty easily, or I'm sure I could figure it out, but I'll wait for him to teach me. Exchange rate sucks for credits. Yeah, that's what I hear. Unfortunately, that is out of our realm. You can always PM me, Maddie, and I could try to work something out with you. Can't do it all the time, but I'm more than willing to do it, sometimes. It just depends on what's what. But why don't we do this? Because I'm sure everybody wants to. This turned out to be a much bigger hit than I was expecting it to be. So I will look up a couple of horses. If you drop the IDs, just the IDs of the horse. Just an opinion. Oh, no, I know that. I know that. So if you give me a retired horse. Anybody can drop a retired horse in the chat. Actually, I don't give a crap if it's the ID or not. Just drop me a retired horse in the chat, and I will do the lookup, and we'll do the review, and we'll go from there. Sam, based on everything you've been teaching us, I can make a much stronger case for breeding 3-year-olds. Yeah, you definitely could. SJ Silver Ghost. I mean, so most horses, as in real life, most horses don't actually fully mature until they're older anyway. I mean, 3 years old is, from what I understand, is kind of pushing it. But that's our, fascination with the 3-year-old game in, America, right? Or I guess any sim sport for that, or sim sport, any horse racing sport for that matter. All right, we got a couple there. Let me look this one up first. This is Sam's. He got his in first. All right, so SJ Silver Ghost, and this is all unplanned, by the way. So here's what I will say. He won 10 races, 45 tries, is bred pretty damn well. Got the surface right. He was definitely more on turf than he was on dirt. Let's see the distance. She had a pretty wide array of distances that she could hit. I can't really pinpoint it as on the one, to be honest with you. She was a pretty talented horse in her own right, but she was actually probably best somewhere in between 9.5 furlongs and 7.5. Probably could have even stretched it to 10. Maybe excuse me, maybe 11 at most. 11 would have really, really been pushing it, in my opinion. But yeah, she was pretty talented. As far as the maturities, oh shit, I just deleted that query. So that come back. Okay. As far as the maturity is concerned, I mean, she could have definitely run as a 2-year-old, but then, but I'm gonna kind of stumble my way through this. She could have run as a 2-year-old, but then the rest of the horses would have caught up with her at 3, 4, and most of her 5-year-old season, and then somewhere at 5, she would have reached full maturity and held it for less than a year before she started the decline. She was also a super professional horse. She had the highest professional rating, or the highest class rating, which means, she showed up. So that's a pretty good one, Sam. We got Letter to Maria from Rancho. Old-time trainers used to say that horses don't really peak until 5, 6, 7. Yeah, and that remains true in this game too, King. I mean, I would venture to say when I ran the averages in this game, most horses will fully hit. Most horses will reach full maturity somewhere in their 4-year-old season. Not all of them, so don't take that as the end all be all. It's not all of them. It's just some of them. Let me do this one. This is Letter to Maria. All right, Letter to Maria. Maria's Mon, Seattle Slew, and Bull Forbes. That's pretty good breeding. It's not bad. What the hell did I just do? There it is. Okay. Check the surface first. All right, so you got the surface down. She was actually pretty heavy dirt leaning. You got 6 wins out of her. Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with this one. You pretty much, you would have been lucky to get a stakes winner out of this one. I can't really comment on how competitive the game was back in the day, but this one, from what I can tell, would have been lucky to get stakes. As far as the maturity, started to really reach her peak at 3.5 or somewhere around there. Would have held it for about 2.5, 3 years. Was a very professional horse though, so she showed up on race day, always ready to go, which is a good thing. Distance wise, was more of kind of a one trick pony, so to speak. She was, I hate that to use that as a pun, but 8.5 was like, oh, look at that. Didn't even realize that's what she won at. 8.5. 8.5 was kind of like the number for her. That would have been her perfect number. So, yeah, best I can give you there. We got Sim Dragon gave me a ID. Let me look up at the ID real quick. We're gonna do Dragnell's horse. Oh no. Take that again. Try that one more time. No. This was cash. Oh, that's not it. Let me pull this back while. Yeah, I mean, now that she's not, so Sam, I can't talk about the ability as a mare as long as she's still not breeding. So I'll go back to yours in a minute. All right, this was the one we were talking about. Grade 1 winner. We got a grade 1 winner. I can't, so the back end I can tell you is really good. I don't know about the first horse. I don't know about the sire. I'm going to take a guess and say probably not, considering nobody's using it, or they're not using it very often. It's not even a sire anymore. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know on that one, to be honest. But could be good. So this looks like, go back. All right, so we got turf, dirt. And with this one, it was, you actually had a pretty talented one, so not surprised that it won graded. Was actually not heavy turf, but could have thrown one or the other. Could have thrown actually both. I mean, you could have probably had success on the dirt with that one too. I know it doesn't look like it early on, but turf was probably the better surface there. From a distance perspective, anywhere from 8 to maybe over 10, maybe 10 and a half. 10 and a half would have been a big stretch, except the horse won at 11. So what am I talking about? Won a grade 1 at 10, 1 at 12, a grade 2, ran well at 10 again, 11, 10 and a half, third, 12, third. Yeah, I mean, horse definitely outran its distance pedigree, or outran the distance that it was, geared up for, keyed up for. Can't tell you the past attributes on this one. But yeah, you had a really talented one. As far as the maturity was concerned, I can tell you where you went wrong on this one. This is tough too because this is on the old game, so I don't know how much maturity played a factor there, but this one would have been best as it got older. So, and when I say older, I mean like closer to 6. So that would have been the key for that one. And it would have only really held the maturity for about a year. So from 6 to 7. So I'd say you really did good with that one, Dragnell. Pretty classy horse, not the highest level. Most of the time would show up, professional. Let's pull that back. We got Morning Glory Lane. Sorry, I'm trying to get through these as best as I can. King, I used to catch some flack from others for not trying Allied Assault on dirt. Could he have handled it? I will let you know as soon as I get down to yours. So Morning Glory Lane is an 8-year-old mare who won 15 times out of 39 tries. Bodemeister, Medaglia d'Oro, 'tis now. Wow, that one ran long. Excuse me. Let me pop this in real quick. Let me pop this in the Magic 8 Ball and find out how good the horse was. So pretty good. Was a grade $2 million winner for you. I have a feeling it's going to have a lot to do with abusing one of the lesser, not abusing is not the right word, taking advantage of one of the divisions that a lot of folks kind of ignore, which is the really, really long division. Yeah, well, this horse had a super, super wide ability to run at both, I would say, oh, God, somewhere between 9 and 13 furlongs would have been the best. Heavy dirt leaning, which is obvious. Yeah, and he just beat up on some folks, beat up on the longer divisions. So yeah, ran outside of the division at 14, 16, 14, 16, 16. Yeah, just a talented horse that beat up on probably on some of the lower end horses, or horses not nearly as talented as them in a kind of a weak division. Not trying to say it was a bad horse, not by any means, because this horse could have won graded at where it was supposed to run. Anyways, like 12 this is a good indication right here. These two races were probably a really, really good indication of where the horse probably should have been. But yeah. So yeah, that one had a super, super wide range. Not that I don't see that often, but that was a really, really wide range of distances. Let me see. Oh, and yeah, as far as class was concerned with this one, lower side, kind of a head case. Would have definitely, you could have had that horse in the prime position and she might have screwed it up for you. So we're at Taffy with Sham Dynasty. Did I spell dynasty wrong? D-Y-N-A-S-T-Y. Yep. She's the dam of your end of your winner. Oh, nice. BK showed up. What's up, Keg? Kegger, my buddy. I was expecting you to be on earlier to abuse the hell out of me. Look at Sham. Okay. So, not super heavy leaning on the turf, but was definitely more turf than dirt. Probably could have gone both ways. Not crazy talented either. I would say above average. And it looks like she ran to about what she was. I would say stakes winner at best. Yep, stakes winner. On the distance, distance was somewhere between 8 and 9.5, maybe 10 if she was lucky. But yeah, not too shabby. Oh, maturity. Excuse me, sorry. Would have been better older. So around 5-ish, it looks like. And then would have held maturity for about 2.5 years. So would have held it till almost 8 years old. Yeah, would have been a really good one. Oh, I shouldn't say really good, but was talented enough to be that good. Where was the other window? Give me the window. There it is. Let me see where we at. We left off on King. Allied Assault was his, I believe. So I'm trying to keep up with y'all, so just kind of bear with me. We're just, like I said, I'm doing this all. This is all on unprepared. This is impromptu. I'm literally doing this off rip. So bear with me. Yeah, her babies look pretty good, Taffy. I mean, it's 23 year older. All right, there we go, King. We can talk about this one. This one we can talk all about. Okay. So this guy was excuse me. This guy was super talented. He is he showed it. Obviously, he's a Hall of Fame horse. Super talented. Was more turf leaning. I'm going to take it. Yep, ran 23 times on the turf. Could have run dirt, but definitely better on the turf. War Chant, Seattle Slew, Halo. I don't know what War Chant would have been rated back then. So I can't really speak to that either. But distance-wise, kind of. Oh no, this is even a wider range. Yeah, this one probably could have sprinted and had. Excuse me, sorry. This one probably could have sprinted and had success, and also ran as far as 12 and had success, which is basically what it did. Is ran at 12. Yeah, you never went past 12. It looks like. Yep, super good job here. This is literally just finding the horse's groove and getting the most out of it. So awesome job, King. As far as maturity is concerned. Horse would have fully matured just before it turned 4, and roughly held it for roughly 2.5 years. Super classy horse too, highest level of class, which means he's always going to show up and run. Not always, but he has he's professional. He's super professional, meaning he's going to run on race day. I did want to go back to Sam's real quick. SJ's Silver Ghost, because I want to get the pass attributes so he knows what that was for this particular horse. And let me pull the other window back up so I can answer questions. Oops. Sorry. All right, there we go. So Sam, going back to your horse real quick. This is SJ Silver Ghost. Had a very, very high pass attributes rate. So, yeah, kind of surprised it didn't do better with the sire selection for the babies, because you chose some pretty good sires, minus Thunder Snow. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I'd have to look at each individual horse and see where you went wrong, or if you went wrong, or if there was a change or what have you. But yeah, no, he was pretty good. So, all right. So let's go back to Let me see. Who did I leave off on? Oh, there's Beer Keg. So there's Shag dropping in his. Shag thinks this one might have been run incorrectly. Let's find out if Shag. Retirement Village. That's a great name. I like that. So with Shag, with this horse, this one. So with this one, it could have. This is gonna be an interesting one. This one could have been good. I don't want to say it could have been great. I would say if you got a stakes win out of this one, which you didn't, I would say that would be impressive. But it was heavy dirt leaning, so you had that correct. Was kind of a miler to, I don't know, kind of just, I guess between a mile and 9 is 8 and 9 furlongs is basically where the sweet spot was. But was talented enough, in my opinion, to win a stakes at the very least. I don't think you ran it wrong, though. I mean, you actually look like you ran it pretty good, all things considered. Let me find out about the maturity, though, before I put my foot in my mouth. Actually, would have been better later. So roughly around 4.5-ish, maybe a little bit later than that, and would have held the maturity for another 3 years, which is one of the longer periods of time. So yeah, which is probably why you see most of the success later on. Yeah. Yep. Pretty good horse, but also could have been pretty bad, As far as the professionalism is concerned, yeah, it was pretty good on the horse class. Not the highest level of class, but again, more times than not would have shown up to run and not shown up to, or not been a head gaze. So I think you got that one right. Let's see, Corey K. I figured I got more out of her than expected. Corey K. Bazals, if Mike runs the Bluegrass Derby 3 times, would we get 3 different results? It's possible. It is possible, Bazals. It's also possible that you could get the same winner. Again, some of it is randomness too. Like I don't want to, play that part of it down. Like there is a random element to the game. I mean, otherwise it wouldn't be a game without it. So, yeah, it definitely exists. But more times than not, what happens is the best horse does win. So that's the best way I can put it to you. Her babies are good. Yeah. That was from Taffy. If the Kentucky Derby were ran 3 times, you would most likely get 3 different. Not necessarily at the wire. I mean, it's possible that you could. But like I said, there is a skill to this game, and some of y'all have figured it out. I mean, there is skill and there's randomness. Some of y'all have figured out the skill side of it. I mean, sometimes you get hit by the randomness, but in a bad way, but you also get hit by it in a good way too. But there is skill to placing your horses in the right spots at the right time. I mean, look at what King showed with Magical Morning earlier. Magical Morning is a perfect example of that. He thought, if you go back and you read the forum, King thought that horse was done. I don't know who it was that convinced him to keep running the horse, but King should send that person one of the babies. Because, yeah, I mean, that's a, like I said, that's a perfect example of somebody placing the horse correctly and getting a bounce back run out of it. Taffy, she might just produce better than herself or something. It could be the sire selection too, Taffy. I didn't see who the sires were, but it could be the sire selection too. They're stupid fast, 116 plus faster than mom. Yeah, 116 is usually pretty good for graded. Especially for the older runners. King, that answers your question. Indiscretion. Oh, is that another one, Taffy? Let me trying to get caught up on chat here. Give me 1 second. I always wondered if I got that one. Seen both turf and dirt. Bad sire choices. Thanks. It's possible, Sam. Like I said, I didn't think your sire choices were that bad. I would, if I had to take a guess, it could have just been when and how you ran them. And I know that sucks to say 20 different times. But King said, okay, I'm up at 6:30 to tee off at 8, so I'm off to bed. Thanks for doing this, Frank. Oh, anytime, King, man. Take care, dude. Have fun golfing tomorrow. Pretty good, pretty bad. Sounds like most of mine. Yeah. That one, Shaq. That's an interesting one. Retirement Village is an interesting one because he had such a wide, or she had such a wide array of possibly being good or bad. So the curve is like huge on her. So it's one of the wider curves I've seen. Let me go back. So Taffy had one other one, I think, called Indiscretion. But it was spin mostly, but she gets no babies. That's funny. That's funny. Indiscretion. All right. So this was... I see exactly why you want to find out if this one was bad. Because of what it produced. Okay. So again, this is tough because it's an older horse. It's on the old engine. Definitely kicked ass in the sense of 116 races, 7 on dirt, 9 on turf. Blah, 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 blah. It did win a grade 1. You know what? It would probably help if I just took the ID and popped it in. Okay. So this one was super talented. More of a sprinter, to be honest. I don't know where your horse... You did most of it at sprinting, right? 11 out of 47. I also won 5 for routes as well. Pretty impressive. More of a turfer, which looks like you kind of... Oh, no, you didn't. I was going to say you got it, but you didn't. But it won a grade 3 on going 8. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say you did anything wrong with this horse. Again, I don't think wear and tear was a thing back in the day, so it looks like you had it right for the most part. I mean, 8, running it at a mile wasn't really a stretch. Was a super professional horse. It did have the ability to pass its ratings at a pretty high level. I don't think that happened here. But it did have the ability to do it. As far as maturity, somewhere around 3.5. Would have kind of ended around 5.5, 5, almost 6. But yeah, could have run. I mean, definitely one of the more talented ones. I'm not surprised you want to grade it at sprints and routes with this one. Excuse me. Again, more of a sprinter than anything else, but could have routed without a problem, which clearly it did. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, passability was high. So grade 1 on sloppy dirt, graded in turf, then what the fuck? They all AP Indy bat, baby sucked a ton. Look at the baby. I mean, you ran the baby 11 times. It's possible. Listen, it's possible that it didn't. I mean, so hold on a second. I want to be clear on this. The passability trait is high, but that doesn't mean that it's going to pass everything. So it could have only passed the distance. You know what I mean? In which case, you know, yeah. I mean, or it could not have passed anything, which is what it very much so looks like with this horse. Oh yeah, this horse did not get shit from the other one. Maybe the horse class. That's it. Yeah. So I can confidently say that one did not get what you were hoping for. Yes, you did screw the baby up. The baby you messed up. The first horse you didn't. But if it makes you feel better, the baby wasn't very good either. So, let's see. A mare has a pass ability as well as ability as mare in general. Can you talk about, in your opinion, of good mare, weak sire versus weak mare, really good sire? So, mares have abilities the same way sires have abilities. So it's essentially like a ceiling and a floor almost. And mares have the ability to pass the ceiling and the floor. And that's kind of how it works. So if you use, the starting point is always going to be the sire that you use. And if the passability trait takes hold, then ultimately what ends up happening is the mare takes control of, whatever that rating should be. So use a crappy sire, you're kind of rolling the dice in the sense of not getting a high rating. Use a good sire with a good mare, you get a high rating, or you have a higher chance of getting a high rating. You can still get a crappy rating, but you have a higher chance of getting a more quality horse than you would by using a lower end sire. Retired too young. Did I screw up, baby? Yeah, you definitely. I mean, I can tell you didn't run the baby the way it was supposed to be run. The baby wanted to go much further. Yeah, baby wanted to go. So it wasn't super talented, Taffy, so I don't think you were going to win graded with this one. But it definitely wanted to go a lot further than where you sent it. Yeah, a lot further than what you wanted to do, than where you wanted to send it. And it also, you look like you focused on turf. It would have been a dirt horse, a more so dirt. It could have run on turf, but it would have been a better dirt horse. And as far as maturity is concerned with this one, you would have had to wait forever. This one wouldn't have fully matured until about 6.5. One of the later ones for sure, but she was professional. So there's that. It wasn't like you screwed up a grade 1 winner with APN. No, you did. No, definitely not. You didn't screw up a grade 1 winner. Definitely not. Yep, the offspring of that one definitely wanted long, for good reason, because the horse wanted long. When a sire is NA and a date is advised for the next share acquisition, is that only one share availability each lottery? I guess you're talking about this here, Maddie. This is what you're talking about. So the way that this works is for the cost. Let's go down to one of the ones that's going to be here soon. Okay. So this one is probably going to hit credits, the Y major. So the way that this works is if nobody has a bid of 1,000 credits or more on this horse, it will drop down to $9.99 and continue to roll down the ticker, right? That's the way that it works. However, if let's say there was multiple bids, let's say all 7 of these bids were over 1,000. Okay, there's 2 drawings. There's a random drawing that basically awards the horse at 1,000 credits, and it would basically be a random drawing across all 7 people who have a bid of 1,000 credits or more on the horse. Okay, so one of those 7 people would win it, and then 5 or 10 days from there would be another drawing that would go to whoever has the highest bid. And whoever has the highest bid, let's say, the highest bid was, I'm just going to throw this number out there. Let's say if it was 2,500 credits, then this horse would go for 2,500 credits. Make sense? Or I shouldn't say 2,500 credits. It would go for, let's say the first say there was two bids. There was one for 2,500 credits and one for 2,400 credits. The person who had the 2,500 credit bid would win, and they would pay 2,401 credits for the horse, because Mike brings it down to, by proxy basically. So that's how it works. So anytime you see an NA, like, so for example, let me find one. Like, oh, that's not a good one. I'm gonna have to go back. So a horse like, I'm just gonna use the obvious one. Tap It. Tap It is never gonna go down unless the sim collectively agrees not to buy Tap It at over 1,000 credits. He's never coming off of 1,000 credits. This is all driven by you guys, by the way. So anything you guys do to this ticker is the in-game economy that's being built by you guys based on the credits. That's why when we were talking earlier, that's why I said there's checks and balances in place for the credits, but there's not for the BPs. So that's why we're going to, kind of retool it a little bit in the future. It won't be nearly as stringent as the credits are, but there's some things we're going to do to it, which will hopefully bring some realism back in terms of like the numbers of horses the number of tappets that are being bred, the number of, whoever else is being bred. Why is that sad? Curious. Explain to me your sadness, Taffy. Oh, you never get credit, sires? It's a good thing there's BPs and cards, right? So again, I mean, credits are credits, and I can tell you, and Mike and I actually talked about this on Friday. When he set the high price on sires at 1,000 credits, which is $10, he never in his wildest dreams thought that anybody would pay more than $10 for a sire, ever. And competition has proven him wrong. Pay credit, you do lottery. But the boys, hey, that's like Tap It. I would get one every 3 years. It's not a bad thing, though. So I think the funny thing about this game is everybody is so stuck on the top tier sires, right? The Tappets, the Uncle Mo's, the Kingmans, the Warfronts, Frankel, the Bowie, Curlin, all of them. Like that's where everybody is hooked, and there's so much value. There's so much value. You guys don't even know. There is so much, and I'm gonna put this in perspective for everybody because I don't do this. So I typically don't breed. I'll typically pay top dollar for something if I know it's rated high or something like that. I'll pay the max price for it because that's just the way that I feel. That's the only way I feel that this is fair at this point, because I have to look at the sire stuff, but at the same time I want to play the game. But that's ultimately the price I'll pay to do it. So I will pay higher when something does break my way, or something is, keen to my eye or something like that. However, that doesn't guarantee me anything because it still goes through the same engine and, as far as creating horses and all that nonsense. So, and I don't look at any of that crap. But the point that I'm making here is there is a ton of horses who hit credits that people just don't even pay attention to because it's not Tap It, or it's not Frankel, or it's, not Into Mischief. And it's funny, man. Like, it's just hilarious to see, like, when I'm listening to people, and I'm, for lack of a better phrase here, bitch and moan about how, they can't get the good sires. Yes, you can. You just don't look. You think that, and it's the same thing with the DS and the DDS as well. Like, there is a lot of value that can be bought at all three levels. And because it's not, the popular ones, people kind of get, butthurt, for lack of a better word. But yeah, man, there's a lot of really, really good horses that make their way off of credits. So, I would say experiment, see if something out there piques your interest. Taffy said, but the BPs let me get top sires. I like it, 1,000 BPs. How wide is the range of top sires? The range, I mean, as far as top sires are concerned, top sires, I would say the range is, well, I don't really know how to answer that question, to be honest with you. Like, it depends on what your definition of top sire is. Because there's 6,000 of them in the game, and they're all rated differently. But if you're talking about like the top 1%, if we're saying the top 1% of sires, I can tell you that I would say probably 75% of the top 1% don't get bid on. At the wire, you can absolutely play this game very competitively without ever spending. Absolutely at the wire. Like there's, you can, man, it's so easy. Like for example, this is gonna kill me because this is one of my go-tos, but Pioneer of the Nile was a really, really good sire in this game. And for whatever the reason, when he died, people just stopped picking him up as a dam sire. I don't. I still pick him up all the damn time. But he gets as low as 230 BPs. I've gotten him for that low. So he's, again, that's just something to think about. Taffy said there are a lot of good sires that are definitely open for credit. Oh, yeah. A lot of good sires that are open for credits. A lot of good sires that are open for a lot of good dam sires. A lot of good damn sires. There's a ton. Chips, I shop at Costco for my sires. I'm hearing that good horses can be bred from the mid-tier sires. Oh, dude, 100%. Say sires that could pop graded. Is there 500? Well, any sire could pop graded. So I'm not really sure what you mean by is there 500. One of Oaks with a Gurkha fill. Yeah. See? And he's probably 200 something because you won the Oaks with him. Or with him. Yeah, with the sire. Mid-tier just gets you a lot of the could be pretty good. Not necessarily. Not necessarily, Shag. Just the one horse that we looked at for you, buddy. But no, man, there's a lot of really talented, sires in the middle. And there's also, I'm going to put this out there too. Some of y'all overpay like crazy for some sires who are not worth the amount of money that you pay for. And that's my thought on it too. Like I'm 100% guilty of it. So not saying I won't overpay again because I 100% will, because if there's a sire I want, I'm going to go after him. But, just saying, like, it's out there. Like, I think some people just expect that because they bought a good sire, they're going to get a good horse, and that's not the way horse racing works. So, at the wire, if you pair with a good mare, your chances get better. You're absolutely right. Mares, DSs, and I would say, so if you're breeding with mares, that is essentially 50% of the equation, in my opinion. If you're doing the dam sire, or if you're doing a scratch, then obviously the dam sire and the DDS come into play. So, Sam said my 2 Eclipse winners were from 150 and 32 cent sire. Blue Bloods are overrated, yet I still do it sometimes. I wouldn't say Blue Bloods are overrated, but here's what I'll tell you about Blue Bloods. Well, that's not a good one. Where's Tappet? Blue Bloods are overbred, and that's why you get as many graded winners out of them as you do. Now, granted, this is percentages, I guess you could look at it as a hit rate, but at the same time, that number should go up because these are the best best ones being bred. Chances are they're probably going to be the most talented coming out, which is fine, but it doesn't mean that they're the only ones. Again, I'll tell you, excuse me, I'll tell you, like, you can definitely get graded winners out of, mid-tier sires. I mean, Caravaggio was my very first, I don't know if I got grade 1 with him. I don't think I got grade 1 with him. He's my very first graded winner. And I bred him to Written Tycoon, and I think I had King Mambo on the DDS. But even then, it's like, again, that's not like, I mean, that's not super blue blood or any by any means. Like that's about as middle range as it comes, minus King Mambo. Taffy, my AP Indy, for example. Yeah, your AP Indy was a perfect example of that. Jono said so if your mare was average like 50K allowance, does it mean she will produce bad stock? No, not necessarily. It just means you might have done bad with the horse. You might have pushed it in a bad. You might not have run it correctly, Jono. They don't run versus their cost. Guess that's what I meant. Yeah, no. Cost has nothing to do with it. You could buy it at whatever you want, and that's, again, that's not going to have any bearing on how the horse is bred or run or what have you. Shag said, I won a 12.5K NW2L claimer with the Gurkha filly. Yeah. I think I bred a Gurkha based on the results that some of y'all were getting, and mine sucked like royally. I never went back and looked it up, but I'm pretty sure I did something wrong with it. Taffy, I love Caravaggio. I have a good stakes winner out of him. King Mambo. Spin, it was the Written Tycoon that got you there, Frank. Think so? I like Written Tycoon. He's actually got a pretty high he's got a pretty high stud fee. What did I say? Oh, about your question. So if your mare was average, like 50K allowance, does it mean? No, so it doesn't necessarily mean that. So, John, it doesn't mean that she's going to produce average. It actually means that, she could, right? Like race results are a pretty good indicator. But it could also mean that you ran her wrong, right? Could have wanted to be run a different way, and that's the way it works. Spin says, shh. Yeah, I gotta stay quiet. There's another sire out there who has a high stud fee that nobody buys. Dare I drop the name? I wouldn't say it's a high stud fee, but it's excuse me. But it is, I think it's an Australian sire. I won't say if it's rated high in the game or not. I'm just going to tell you it's got a high stud fee. Indeed, it is Tap It. Beer Keg got it. You son of a bitch. Always blowing up information. But yeah, so there's lots of good sires out there. Lots of good, Australian sires, Japanese sires, European sires. American sires usually take the brunt of the money, mainly because the majority of players are states players, so we all tend to overspend on them. But yeah, there's sires in Canada, Beer Keg? Oh man. So Jono said, yes, that means every mate I stuffed up as a trainer still has hope. Yeah, there's hope. I mean, if it's a well-bred sire, or if it's a well-bred horse, that could potentially be good. Sam said he accidentally paid $1,000 for most mischief, thinking I read intimate. Oh no! Sorry, Sam. I don't mean to laugh, but my first 1,000 credit / BP mistake was, I guess, in the grand scheme of things, it worked out for me, but I hit my first 1,000 BPs, and instead of putting a credit bid on Stormcat, I paid 1,000 BPs for Stormcat, which at the time I should not have paid. So that was my big snafu. Super Tabby says Savabeel. Yeah? What about her? Or him? Sorry. Rancho, I keep taps on horses, real life graded stakes, and try those. Yeah, so, I've said this before, but most horses are, they pass preferences based on what they did on the real track. So if you're scratch breeding, it's always good to start where that horse started, or where damn sire started, something along those lines. Same thing with mares. Like if you're breeding with a mare, I got a stupid good. Oh, you got a stupid good horse by him. I got no good horses by Salvabil, and I've used them a few times. I've used them a handful of times. Just open ice as a surface, and we're set. Soon enough. That's on the agenda, Keg. I'm kidding. It's not. He said, well, well, you never know, Jono. You know, even monkeys fall off trees. Aussie Sire. What about Aussie Sires? The sire that's good? Yeah, there's a lot of good Aussie sires. I'm not going to give anything up, so just know that there's good Aussie sires. There's good, there's pretty much good sires everywhere. Yeah, Savabeel. Oh, that was your guess? Yeah, I mean, even if you guessed it right, I'm not telling you. So, but it looks like we're kind of winding down. Does anybody have any last minute questions or anything they want to talk about? But, yeah, man. It's true. I did say it was Tappet. Tappet is the sire. I think a lot of Euro Aussie turf sires are underused. Oh, 100%. I think everybody leans on the popular ones, right? Like everybody loves the popular ones, and for good reason. They're rated well. I mean, for the most part, the players in the sim have the sires figured out in terms of who belongs where, in terms of the rankings. But like I said before, like there's still tons and tons of opportunity to use stuff, mid tier, low tier. You could get a lot of value out of some of the sires, on credits, on BPs, on pretty much everything. So, no, sir, we appreciate the time. Taffy, I have one you love. Not going to name it. You can PM it to me, Taffy. Been a great session. Oh, anytime, guys. Like I said, this is fun. If it stops being fun, that's when I'll stop. So, but until then, we'll hang out. There might be some more information coming out about sires here in the near future. Spin, I gotta actually shoot you a message on Slack. So, also, excuse me, if you're not on Slack, really hop on. We do a ton of stuff on Slack. There's a lot of chatter on Slack. There's usually almost always somebody in there chatting it up. We talk about horses. We give advice. We do hot races. We do all kinds of fun stuff in there. So it's people give away gift horses in there too. So that's another thing. So if you're around or if you want to get into Slack, again, go here and click on chat, and then kind of fill this stuff out here on the left, and you'll be good to go. You're welcome, guys. Jono, now if it stops being fun, then we go to drunk streams. Oh man, if we go to drunk streams, I'm going to really get in trouble. Mike's going to fire me. Or maybe he'll promote me. Who knows? How close is jockey feedback? Will there be a small fee to get a jock's insight? I don't know that there's going to be a fee. I don't know how we're going to do it. I'm actually in the I coded something else up for jock information. I actually coded it up last week, but I wasn't happy with it, so I deleted it before Mike even came back. So I'm kind of starting fresh again. But yeah, so Jock Insight, it's on the table. It's one of the things that's kind of more towards the forefront. So if we can get that rolling, then great. If not, then it'll get rolled out when it gets rolled out. But that's where I'm gonna call it. So y'all have a good evening. And thank you for joining. Thanks for being a part of the sim. And if you have any other questions, feel free to either PM me on Slack, on the forums, via email, through the website. I get all those emails. So, yeah. And me and Mike really appreciate all your, you guys playing the game. So I'll catch y'all later.